Welcome back to Blitz Games. Today we're going to go over some of the new mechanics from Set 4, Ursula's Return. As you probably already know, it's coming out in May, just a few weeks away from the time of recording this. So as you see here, just first on the 3 booster packs, we have Ariel and Ursula, which are pretty obvious, I think, in the fact that it's Ursula's Return. We also have Sisu. I'm very happy to see that we're getting another Sisu card, since we've only had one, which was the legendary blue. We are getting one in red. But on to the new mechanics that are coming out in this set. First, we have Sing Together. So the 2 new mechanics, they have revealed one card in each color. So for Sing Together, this is the same as singing a normal song. The difference here is that any number of your teammates' characters or yours with total cost of that or more may sing the song for free. So this kind of changes things, as you can use any number of characters, whether it's 2 or 1 or 7 characters, as long as their total costs add up to at least the cost of that card, then you're able to sing it. So here's the first in Amethyst. It is a 10 cost uninkable, second star to the right. This allows chosen player, whether it's you or someone else, to draw 5 cards. I think this is one of the better of these Sing Together that we have been revealed thus far. This could get some play with something like Jafar, since Jafar is in the same color. He also costs 7, so he is well on the way to that 10. And rather than playing something like Whole New World, I'm sure that will still get played in addition to this. But Whole New World allows the opponent to draw 7 new cards. This would only allow you to draw 5 cards, which is pretty cool. There are also some other type of decks. I assume you would only run 1, maybe 2 copies of this, as you don't want this to get stuck in your hand if you don't have characters on the board that add up to 10. If you have nothing out, then drawing into 1 or 2 of these in a row would definitely not be what you want to see. Moving on to our second card, we have from Emerald, another uninkable. This one costs 8. It's Under the Sea. So it says that you put all opposing characters with 2 strength or less on the bottom of their players' decks in any order. Now this one, I don't see it having as much play as the previous card, but it is certainly interesting that you can take. The only thing is that this is probably something that you're going to be singing later in the game. I doubt you're going to have a total of 8 or more until at least turn 4 or 5. So opposing characters are probably going to be stronger than that, unless they're playing some sort of, maybe you're playing against aggro with a lot of cursed merfolks and Flynn Riders, which this would be very strong against that. But some of your other decks, like your Ruby Amethyst or your Blue Red, you're not going to see a whole lot of characters later in the game, besides maybe Merlin Rabbit that you'd want to put under there. But this could see play. I don't know. We don't know all the cards that are going to be coming out, but another interesting card nonetheless. On to our third card. We have an inkable 6 cost from Ruby. It's called A Pirate's Life. This only costs 6. And each opponent will lose 2 lore and you will gain 2 lore. So this could be sort of a kind of swing in the game if you have a deck that is going to maybe start a little bit slower, and you know that maybe you're running some sort of control. Maybe this can go in the blue-red deck. If they get too far behind, you just can play this later in the game. Once you have maybe a Maui out, which would be 5 plus another character. Maybe you have Maleficent or Tamatoa and would rather sing than quest. You can do this and maybe get yourself back in the game. Again, not a great card at first, but again, it has potential. Moving on to card number 4, we have Dig a Little Deeper. This is a blue 8 uninkable, so it will cost 8 or more. Or if you want to sing it, you're going to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, put 2 of those cards into your hand, and then the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This I could definitely see going in a blue-red deck or something that's more control-oriented. This is going to get you a net positive, considering you're getting 2 cards for the price of 1, which is nice, and 7 cards is a lot. So you're going to be able to see a good chunk of your deck. I definitely could see this seeing play in some decks. It sucks that it's uninkable, but I definitely could see it seeing some play. Onto the Steel card. We have 10 uninkable, the Mob Song. This does 3 damage to up to 3 chosen characters and or locations. Now, the way that that's worded, I assume that you cannot choose the same character or location more than once, which would be nice, as you could potentially play this and take out something like a McDuck Manor that has 9 willpower. But if they do have multiple characters out, especially if you're playing some sort of aggro, or even against like Ruby Amethyst that has multiple rabbits out, this definitely could do a lot of damage to your opponent. The problem is that 10 ink for something like this does seem like a lot, especially in Steel. I guess maybe if you had a Beast plus a Robin Hood out or something like that. Steel doesn't typically have a lot of high cost characters played in the deck, but maybe if it's paired with something that does, maybe like a Ruby. So if you had Scar out there, or if you had the 9 cost Maleficent, or just a lot of smaller characters, it could see play, but I don't think this one is as good as some of the others that we've seen thus far. And lastly, we do have our Amber. This is a 7 cost inkable card. That is, look at this family. We have look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 character cards and put them into your hand. Put the rest on your bottom of your deck in any order. I really do like this card. Amber does need some more solid cards. It hasn't seen a lot of play this last set, other than in your Steel Song or Mufasa, both of which have really, at least in my area, have disappeared. I really haven't seen too many of those decks. This, I think, would fit perfectly in a Mufasa deck. You're going to be able to have characters out on a regular basis in a Mufasa deck, and then you're able to look at the top 5, and they're going to be characters because you're running at least 56 characters in your deck usually. Sometimes all 60 cards are characters, and you're getting a 1 card for 2 characters put into your deck. I think this would run perfectly in that deck. I think it will see play. This is a good card in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. That is it for the Sing Together cards that have been revealed so far. We'll see if there are more in the future. Our second mechanic that is new to the set is shifting, and instead of paying the ink cost, you're able to discard cards. So in this case, this is an Amber card. Ursula, Eric's Bride. It is a 4 cost uninkable. That is a 2/4. In order to shift, you're able to discard a song card. So you can discard a song card to play this on top of one of your characters named Ursula. This does quest for 2. And whenever this character quests, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So that is pretty interesting. Now, for shifting, the only target that I see working right now is the 2 cost Ursula from green. So, which would actually be quite the potent combo if you played that turn 2, which lets you look at the opponent's hand and discard a song. Then if you see they have more things that are non-character in their hand, you could, on turn 3, shift this in, not use any of your ink since you're discarding a song card, and then be able to quest for 2 and discard an additional card. So I think that potentially could be a lemon lime or yellow and green deck combo for upcoming that we might see at least trialed. I don't know if it will be good or not, but something to think about. Our second card here is Flotsam and Jetsam. It is an amethyst card that costs 6 and is inkable. In order to shift, you do have to discard 2 cards from your hand, which is quite the cost, but it does count as both being Flotsam and Jetsam. It does quest for 2 and is a 5/5. Now, there are plenty of cards in the previous sets that are Flotsam or Jetsam that say if you have the other in play, they gain this, which is usually Ward or I believe Evasive. So this could be okay. I don't particularly see it seeing a lot of play, but I could be wrong about that. Let's look on to our next card. It is a legendary in Emerald. It is an uninkable 3-costed Diablo, Devoted Herald. It is a 2/2, which in order to shift, you have to discard an action card. It is evasive, and it quests for 1. Its ability: during each opponent's turn, whenever they draw a card while this character is exerted, you may draw a card. That ability itself is amazing. So we'll see if this sees any play. The only Diablo I believe in the game right now is the 1-cost purple Diablo, which is a 2/1, I believe. So you could play that turn 1, play this turn 2, shift it. You could shift it on turn 1, but I don't see the point in that. You'd rather shift it turn 2 when you're able to immediately exert it for questing for 1. And then on your opponent's turn, you're guaranteed to at least draw 1 card when they draw their card for their turn. And if they're not able to deal with it, you could continue to quest, since it does have evasive, and potentially draw a lot of cards off this. I really do like this card, but if you do get that combo out early and then you've wasted, so you have your first Diablo, this Diablo, plus the card that you discarded, that is 3 cards that you're getting rid of. And if they're able to just ping it with something in steel or remove it somehow, then you just used up a lot of resources for basically nothing. So that is a little scary there, but I could see it being quite potent against any decks that aren't able to deal with it. Next, we have Li Shang, which is our ruby shiftable character. He has a 3-cost inkable Li Shang Valorous General. He is a 3/2. You need to discard a character card in order to shift him onto another Li Shang. And his ability, Lead the Charge, is your characters with 4 strength or more get an additional lore. That certainly is interesting, but I'm not sure I see this seeing a lot of play. Because if you think about it, how many characters do you really have in play at once that have 4 strength or more? I really don't think that's many. So at the time being, unless something changes, they release more cards that would help this guy out, I really don't see him see a lot of play. Next, onto our Sapphire card, we have the 3-cost Olaf. Glad to see another Olaf making his way into the set. He is the Carrot Enthusiast. 1/4. In order to shift him, you need to discard an item card, which is perfectly fine considering he's Sapphire. You have plenty of items to choose from. Now, when he quests, or his ability is Carrots All Around, whenever he quests, each of your other characters gets plus strength equal to this character's strength this turn. So that is kind of interesting. If you're able to boost his strength, then he can boost your other character's strength. It is nice that he quests for 2. Potentially could see some play with Alice from set number 2. That gives all of your other characters support. So that could be an interesting combo. I can't think of many other cards at the moment that would pair well with this Olaf. But again, we'll have to see what other cards are coming out in the set. And on to our last card, we have the 3-cost inkable Aladdin from Steel, Brave Rescuer. He is a 3/3 that is shifted by discarding a location card. Now that's interesting, as locations really don't see a ton of play other than Queen's Castle and maybe McDuck's Manor right now. So discarding a location card, you'd have to be playing a location heavy deck, maybe with John Silver and the 5 cost that I'm blanking on right now from Ruby that lets you Jim Hawkins. His ability is crashing through. Whenever this character quests, you may banish chosen item. So if we see a even heavier item meta in the next set, maybe this can see play, but between having to discard a location card and just having to quest in order to banish an item, I'm not sure this will see play. But again, I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you would like to watch some gameplay, there are now 2 videos on your screen that you can choose from. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.